Hi guys, thanks for tuning to this episode of Nick Egan Times. In this episode we have an awesome guest. We have Audriix. Audriix is a well-known international multi-talented singer and songwriter. After Audriix released her debut EP Covers in 2015, Audriix has released her full-length debut Status Change in 2019. According to Wonderland magazine, nothing no one will stop rising pop star Audriix in her tracks. Audriix's 2020 song Deep Breaths is ringing with attitude and unapologetic swagger, seeking to bring about female empowerment by drawing from the artist's own personal experiences in life. Audriix has been continuing the theme of empowerment with Audriix's 2021 single Waste a Goodbye foreshadows an inevitable end to the future she planned, claiming none of my songs portray the woman as a victim. Audriix says it's all about being strong and standing up for yourself. Audriix hopes that listeners come away feeling empowered to do whatever they set their minds to. Audriix is now here to talk and promote her latest amazing single that has been released, Taking Back My Life, which is a self-love anthem meant for anyone who wants to move forward from their past relationship and reclaim the parts of themselves they lost. Audriix's openings for Madison Beer's live support tour that is about to get underway. Welcome, Audriix, and thank you for coming on my podcast.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So am I. How's it all been going over there?
How's it all been going? It's been going well. Weird year with COVID, but life is starting to open up and a lot of exciting stuff coming up with the music. As you said, just released my new song, Taking Back My Life. Got a couple new songs coming up and spending a lot of time prepping for this tour that starts in October.
Amazing. How has life for you personally and professionally since the pandemic's begun affected you? How's that been?
A lot less travel. It's so funny. Right before COVID hit, I kind of felt like I was living out of a suitcase, just traveling everywhere in Tahoe one week and then LA, and then I went to Mardi Gras, and then I was back at home, and then I went to San Diego, played my last show, March 11th, 2020, at the House of Blues San Diego, and I remember thinking and actually saying to my mom, oh my God, I wish I could just have 2 weeks in one place. And the next day after this show I played, everything got canceled and I pretty much just stayed at home for a year and got my wish and more. So it was quite a big shift to not be traveling. And obviously the biggest, saddest impact for me personally being that all tour plans getting canceled. 2020 was supposed to be a big touring year for me. That didn't happen. Luckily, thank God it's coming back now. But it was the music industry is one of the industries that got hit hard, and was a lot of Zoom stuff and Zoom co-writing sessions and just finding new ways to continue being productive, but in a very different way than what used to be everything being in person.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for saying that. All right, let's just jump straight into it. Tell me about your life, your family, and growing up, what that was like for you.
Sure. Yeah, I am from Silicon Valley, so I come from a very, very tech-heavy family, and my parents both went to Stanford. My brother and I both went to Stanford as well, and actually all of us studied engineering. So my mom did play violin growing up, but really, my family was, again, Silicon Valley was all that I knew. So, but music was my passion since I was 3 years old, and every connection I made in music and every progress I made in the music industry had to come from me. I didn't have any connections in that world at all. Growing up though, music, as I said, it was my passion, knew it was what I wanted to do since I was 3. When I was 2 years old, I heard Vivaldi's The Four Seasons, the violin piece, and I begged my mom to let me take violin lessons. And she said no, and I badgered her. And then finally, when I turned 3, she said okay. And so she would drive me 30 minutes each way twice a week for 2 15-minute lessons a week, and because that was the only attention span that I had. And then sort of soon after that, was singing in preschool when I was 4, and then started piano when I was 5, and started songwriting when I was 6. So growing up, music and performing, just lifelong passions for me. I guess I was lucky to know what my passion was at such a young age, and that just sort of carried over starting from a young age. I played all sorts of instruments. I eventually added in viola, was in a symphony for that, and guitar and drums, and learning production at Stanford and that kind of stuff. And now, years later, here I am doing it as my career, but it kind of was always my passion.
That's incredible. That's an amazing story and journey that obviously you're still going and you've got your best days ahead of yourself. So that's just truly amazing. You actually, I believe, you've done 3 degrees, is that right?
I did, yeah. At Stanford, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations on that too.
Thanks.
All right, talk to me about your music. So I guess what inspires you? What's the background behind it, the catalyst, I guess, for it all?
Yeah, I mean, all of my songs I write from personal experiences. Definitely Taylor Swift, of course, is an inspiration growing up listening to her music. And I think I very much do a similar sort of thing that she does. And I take, I consider myself a storyteller, and I've had a whole slew of weird experiences, especially in relationships, and, not been treated great by various people. But at least as a songwriter, the silver lining for all of that is I can put that into my music. And, I also think there's a lot of really bad role models in the music industry for young girls. And I think that's sad. And so I want to be someone that people can relate to. And if they're going through, if a teenage girl's going through a difficult time, I want them to be able to listen to my stories and my songs and know that I have the same experience that they do, and that they're not alone in that. So, but yeah, I definitely write, all my songs are true stories.
Amazing. Talk to me about the actual new single that you've released, Taking Back My Life. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, that was definitely the probably most emotional song for me to release, because it is. So I called off my engagement earlier this year, which was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. It was a very, very difficult time. It was a very toxic relationship. Not good stuff. Details, if you want, listen to my song. that'll lay all that out there. But yeah, it was really, really difficult. And part of my healing process from that relationship was writing this song and part of the act of taking my life back was writing this song. I released it on July 20th, which was the original wedding date that I had set, to try to sort of step one of taking my life back was taking that day back and turning it from a really difficult day into something that I could celebrate. But yeah, it was very difficult. Yeah, it was a traumatic experience, and I'm still in the process of healing. I think anyone who's been through that sort of breakup or toxicity or that kind of stuff can relate, I'm sure. But it's a whole process that I'm still in the process of taking my life back. But it was the song really was very, very close to my heart because I'm going through it still.
Yeah, I definitely believe a lot of people can relate to that. Even I've been there, been engaged, and didn't work out, so I can definitely relate to. So I can definitely relate to you on those levels. So yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully, I don't touch too much about. There's only really one line in the song that's about the wedding, which is "Sold the ring I thought I'd die in." So I, hopefully, it can relate to anyone that's gone through a breakup and have been in a relationship where they felt like they lost themselves and are moving forward to a future that's very different than what they planned.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it definitely resonates for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like your other song, Red Flags, as well. That's a really good one, too. I watched the video as well. That was amazing. Talk to me about that song.
That, hilariously, is also a true story. Both the things you see in the video and the things you hear in the song. Yeah, it's, I can now laugh about it, but it was super weird. It was a super weird experience. This is someone that I met on Bumble and only met a couple times. Really didn't even know the person, but he came on way too strong. First date brought me sprinkles cupcakes, my favorite food, and flowers, giant bouquet of flowers in my favorite colors. which I was like, oh, it's really nice, but I was like, kind of, whoa, I don't even know you. And then got kind of aggressive when I was like, yeah, I'm not really, and was just moving really fast, talking about taking vacations to Cancun together and all this stuff where I'm like, whoa, 15 steps back. And then somebody thought they saw him driving by my house and, had a gift, as you see in the music video. The person at the end of the video comes to me with a gift. That's also a true story. This person had a gift, allegedly. He said he had a gift that he wanted to give me after I said, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And he would not, would not take no for an answer. I mean, that's the real message is no means no. And this was somebody who, despite me trying to be kind but direct. I think directness is important, but I think you can be delivered with kindness. And I kindly said, I'm not interested. No, thank you. And he would not listen. And that's not okay. No means no. And I think, I'm very much into women empowerment a lot. That's a theme of a lot of my songs. But I think people may think that they can keep, it's a thing of like, oh, just keep asking a girl out, whatever. And it's like, you know what? Actually, no. If somebody says no, I'm not interested, it's important to respect that. So, and that video was fun as well. You hear in the bridge, there's sort of like chanty vocals, and I have a whole group of other women, female friends of mine that came in, and they hold up these posters with quotes, and those are all quotes that they've experienced of creepy things that guys have said to them, pushy things, being disrespectful, no means no. So I like that song too. I'm glad that you like that one, because it's felt like a strong anthem of no means no, female empowerment, women banding together.
Yeah, 100%. Even it's just so the whole process of it and everything a part of it. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's very well done. Very well done. I also saw too. You did a song, Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, I did.
That was amazing. It's like 800-something thousand views on YouTube too. That's crazy.
Thanks. I know, it's so funny. I haven't paid a cent in any advertising for that. That was actually done for fun. So, I mean, I'm a big musical theater fan as well, lifelong musical theater fan. And so I went to Stanford. So that was filmed in Stanford Memorial Church. And my pianist, Albert Tommaso, I played with for many years, who's in my band, but he also played the organ in Memorial Church at Stanford. And I had this vision for so many years of doing a cover of Phantom, filmed in the church with him playing on the organ, and we finally did it. And it was just a project I did for fun, involving a handful of friends of mine. And I love Family Opera. It's one of my favorite shows, and we filmed it. And a friend of mine filmed it. I edited it. Another friend of mine produced it, and we put that out there. And it's one of the top covers of Phantom of the Opera on YouTube, which is so funny to me because we really haven't pushed it at all, but I guess people like it.
Yeah, 100%. It's a classic, and it relates to a lot of people, all these genres and stuff. You're never too old or young for it. So yeah, and even personally, my auntie loved the opera, so I could definitely know that she would have loved that song. So well done. That's amazing.
Thanks.
What are, I guess, some of the experiences now, obviously looking back and currently going on the journey you are, what have you learned? Like, what have you been learning or you have learned that's really stuck out for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned, and which goes back to probably the best piece of advice I've gotten, is doing every little thing you can to get ahead. And actually, my mentor and music professor, Mark Applebaum, gave me this advice many years ago. I remember he actually played in my band as well. Music professor from my sophomore year at Stanford. And we played a show, and he had me come over to his house after, and he put a piece of paper out and had me draw a whole bunch of vertical lines on this paper. And he said, okay, starting with the leftmost one, every person to the right of this first line is a great singer. And then we move to the next line. Okay, now every person to the right of this line is not only a great singer, but also a great songwriter. And we kept moving, and it's every little thing you can do to get ahead. And by the time we got to kind of the end of the paper, I don't know if you can visualize this exactly, but it was the people who are successful are great singers and they're great songwriters and they work at it every day and they take voice lessons and they work on their craft and and they have good equipment, and it's all these things and every little thing you can do to get ahead. And that advice really stuck with me, and that's what I try to do. And I think, something that I try to keep in mind every day is, there's millions of great singers and great songwriters out there. And it's so difficult to differentiate. There's so much noise and so much great music out there. And for me, I just am always thinking, what can I do to give myself just a little bit of an edge, right? How can I be working 110% and other people are just giving 100%, right? What's every little thing I can do? And I very much believe, my career, I'm still not where I want to be yet, which is, the biggest pop star in the world. I'm not there yet, but every kind of milestone I've hit, I couldn't have done without the previous one. So it's just sort of constantly working hard and finding new things that I can do to get ahead and working my way up. And I believe if you work harder than everybody, it's going to pay off. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah, amazing. And I definitely know you're headed to be the number one pop star in the world because your trajectory is amazing. So you're doing great. And yeah, it's truly true about the consistency and all those 1%ers, they all add up every day, every minute. So yeah. Well, I guess just generally speaking, what inspires you daily? So when you wake up in the morning, what actually, I guess, inspires you and motivates you to keep going through this and doing this?
I love music and I love performing. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just my biggest passion. If there was no such thing as a career and it was just a day to do whatever you want, I'd spend it singing and dancing and playing my music. I just love it, and I absolutely love performing. And so that's why I'm so excited for this tour. After a year of staying inside, right now, these days, I'm just consistently, I wake up in the morning and I'm excited to just get to work on getting ready for this tour and practicing my choreography and practicing my voice and getting ready for the next song and just getting all of that in place. I'm just really excited. I just love what I do.
Awesome. Obviously you've got a busy schedule and you're doing obviously everything that you've said. I guess your downtime or like when you're away from this, what do you like to do? What are your other interests and hobbies or passions aside from this?
Sure. Yeah, golf is a big one. I played on the Stanford golf team back in the day. No longer do I play competitively, but I still play for fun. I love golf. And getting outside, I am someone who's very, I'm in California. I'm very affected by the sun. So getting outside and working out and that kind of stuff definitely gives me good energy. I also love my collie dogs, so in downtime I will play with them. And I'm very outdoorsy. I sort of split time between California and Tahoe, and so when I'm in Tahoe in the summertime, I'm out on the lake, whether it's swimming in the lake or hanging on the beach or stand-up paddleboarding. In the winter, doing a lot of the Tahoe snow skiing and winter sort of things.
Well,
yeah.
Have you done much international travel yet?
Yeah, I actually toured in Europe pre-COVID. Yeah, I toured opening for Ali and AJ on their European tour, which was awesome.
How'd you like that?
I loved it. It was so much fun. It was such a fun, and my ex-fiance was also from Europe as well, so I spent a good amount of time there as well. But and I also actually spent some time in Mallorca, Spain, on some of the songs that I wrote for my album Status Change. A handful of those I wrote with some producers in Mallorca, which was really fun. Yeah.
Well, I guess what does the future look like for albums and singles that are coming as well in the future? What does those projects look like?
Yeah, I have a couple more songs that are already done, ready to go. So those will be out very soon. I won't give more details. I'll keep the suspense, but the more music coming really soon, pre-tour. And I'm continuing to write, and now back to some in-person sessions, which is really fun after all. Although I do like the Zoom sessions, I will say. There's something nice about being able to write kind of any time. It's a lot easier to just hop on and write with people. And, I have a home studio set up, so that's not too difficult. But continuing to write, getting ready for some new releases. But obviously, the biggest focus right now is getting ready for the tour, which is October and November this year.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I'm looking forward to obviously all your music that's coming out. So yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, Audriix, thanks for coming on my podcast. I do appreciate it. I wish you all the very best in the future and obviously your journey. You're going into the future with amazing trajectory, just with everything you've done and already doing. And yeah, the song "Taking Back My Life" is amazing. For everybody listening to, you can follow Audriix on Instagram at the handle Audriix, the Facebook handle at Audriix. You can subscribe on her YouTube channel to hear her music at Audriix, and you can also visit her website at audriix.com. Thank you, Audriix, for coming on podcast. I do appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome.